this TikTok famous e-commerce brand did over $45 million last year.
All right. Easy money. Come on.
And on today's video, I'm going to break down their secret weapon so you can swipe and deploy it on your own store so you can hit your first 6 or 7 figure month. Hey team, I'm Alicia Conlin-Hurd, co-founder of the post-click agency Persuasion Experience. I've done over 450 different landing pages, funnels, and websites. And today I'm gonna walk you through the Coco Eve product page, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And for those of you who stick around until the end, I'm going to be revealing 3 brutally effective e-commerce strategies that I've seen over many years and many projects of working with e-commerce stores so that you can find new pools of customers and persuade them to buy. Let's get into it. For those of you who don't know who Coco Eve is, obviously they're a huge beauty brand. They have a sister company you might have heard of called Sand and Sky, and they're owned by a parent company called SuperNova. Last year, they did 45 million in revenue. They don't just have their own website. You can also find them in places like Priceline, Adore Beauty, Cult Beauty, and Sephora. Okay, so today we're going to be looking at the Like a Virgin hair mask, focusing first on above the fold. That is the most important real estate on our page. And why I chose the product page is because it is our most important page on our site. This is effectively our salesperson on our website. And if this doesn't work, they're never gonna add to cart and checkout, etc. So this is where the money happens. And we can see above the fold, they've got many images, which is good. They've got images in context, which is good as well. They've got their social proof above the fold. So that's helping us to see the perceived likelihood of getting the dream outcome. I think here it would be interesting to split test having that dream outcome in the target market's words. They have that on some of their other pages. I find that our multi-award winning, obviously while that's great, it does beg the question, what awards? So what, why should I care? And maybe we're missing an opportunity to put the awards on the images. The power of demonstration or proof is always much more stronger, and it's always better to show, not tell. It's great though that they have like these bullet stacks that say what the offer is, and a lot of it is reversing problems, the core problems that people, I imagine, want to reverse with this product. And then they have these easy USPs and the ingredients as well. So there's a few things that I would test above the fold to get more conversions or to get more people purchasing. What I do want to do is a bit of a disclaimer around with split testing, you want to be looking at the quantitative data. So that's the numbers, and also the qualitative data, which is session recordings or the why effectively, because both of those help to create a story. You can't just have the numbers because the numbers don't tell you the why. The qualitative data does that. So to even come up with split tests, I'd be watching session recordings, looking at heat maps, having feedback loops with customer support, analyzing data from customer insight surveys and non-customer insight surveys as well, and then coming up with a good hypothesis ranked on the PI framework, potential, importance, ease. Now that that disclaimer is aside, I can say whatever I want around split testing, and these are just my ideas based on my experience. So a lot of today's review is going to be on desktop because it's easier to look at and it's universal. But most of the traffic is going to be coming from mobile, and this is what people will be seeing. And I think it'd be interesting to test showing the product in context earlier, and also in these images, leveraging more of the amazing assets that this brand has. More influencers, familiar faces, potentially testimonials. And I think another great thing to test, whether it was up here or a little bit lower, would be a product video, like a hyperreel. So showing the product and it going into the hair, because I know they have amazing ads that do this. And then we're not really using it here, but they obviously work, those ads, because they get us the click. And I think that there's a lot of assets that the brand has that could be leveraged again on this page. And then you could be having video testimonials layered in as well. Moving into this, it's great that they have a bundling option, but it makes me think, or it makes me like have to figure out what is an eco best, and that's a friction point. So whenever you're reviewing your own site or someone else's, you want to find the friction points. And obviously we want people to buy this because it increases our average order value. However, I don't know what this until I click on it. So you're relying on me to play around on the site. An easy way to get around this is to probably have a different name and or show what you get. Show it's like 1+ bonus or whatever, and then have something that makes this stand out and draws the eye to this, because we want, obviously it's on here because we want people to purchase this. Another interesting thing as well is that when you go to mobile, the USPs go. So I would question that, because typically those USPs are there. Why? Because they remove the friction to clicking add to cart. And that's the whole point of the page, is to remove the friction of getting somebody to take the action we want them to take. So we have the copy down here, but it kind of gets lost. I've got some ideas for the sticky button as well that I'm going to share at the end. So what they could do here instead is literally have under here, join 8,000+ other, depends on like the identity. I'd be trying to find out the identity from the consumers. So it's like, join 8,000+ other beauty lovers who have transformed their hair in under 5 days, 2 washes, whatever it is, because that reinforces the dream outcome, and the social proof removes the friction of clicking add to cart. So that's the above the fold. As we start to scroll down, let's look at this panel, this 5-in-1 panel. Firstly, it's hard to read on mobile, and that's because it's an image. So you've just automatically introduced friction into my experience. I can't actually read the text on mobile. And if this was my page and I was going to keep this, I would want to dial it up, and I would want to figure out proprietary formula name to ramp up the uniqueness and the authority. And then I would trademark it. So instead of 5-in-1 formula, which is kind of vague and vanilla, I would come up with something like the award-winning hydro repair formula gets dream outcome. And then with a section like this, you always want to show, not tell. And if you can, leverage the power of demonstration. We want to connect the feature and the benefit, and also give a bit more emotion. So this is a beautiful woman with beautiful hair, awesome. This is something that I made on Canva. Please don't judge me and my design skills. But you can see here when you start to look at this and unpack, okay, the ingredients are coconut, fig extract, shea butter, linseed, argan oil, probiotic. And when I go onto their About Us page and read the origin story or the About Us, it's all about how they came from Bali and these natural ingredients. And a lot of the story is around coconut. And having that like really fresh ingredient helps to just use that power of demonstration and to help people think, oh wow, this is healthy. This is really high quality. And so using something that looks better than this to show the ingredients of what goes into it, because we're tapping a lot into the beautiful hair, we can tap a little bit more into like the science or the fact side on a panel like that. Next section, this real result. I love the look of this panel, and I've swiped this so many times. I have been following Coco and Eve probably for about 5 years, and every time I do an e-commerce site, I'm always coming and checking out what they're doing. But I wonder if we'd get better results on this page if we only had the testimonials for the specific product. So removing the tan, removing anything that isn't hair mask related effect, and then no one's getting distracted. They do this on the tan page, so I'm not sure if that's an error on this page. I would also split test this subhead and get way more specific here. So it's 8,000+ beauty lovers have transformed their hair and got like real results or whatever it is. But I would be interested to know if we dialed up that specificity, how we could do that. To talk about what is good, because this page is awesome. These are just things that we could potentially test and swipe. This section and how it shows before and afters and pretty women and aspirational images is something that every single brand should have on their product page. And going back to this panel, having that features and benefits. So talking about and making it really easy to see how it's going to help you and what it's going to do for you, because it's not making the user work, right? This is our salesperson, and we don't want to make them work to figure out how it's going to help them. And with this real results section, I would also want to test out the testimonial that gets me the best result. So on mobile, this is the one that shows up, and only one shows up on mobile at a time. But there's always a testimonial that brings you in the money and you don't even realize it. The easiest way is to test at the ad level. And if you found that you had 1 or 2 testimonials like people really resonated with and were driving you heaps of money, I would also be getting them up into the product above the fold image slider as well. Everything on this page is awesome, right? But this is the first element that I wonder if it's losing them a lot of money. And let's see if you know what it is. It's around this call to action. If we think about it, this page is our salesperson. Do we want our salesperson sending people away from the sale? So imagine you were like mid-conversation with a salesperson and then you were like about to buy and they were like, hey, actually, come and look at this. And it's kind of taking them a step back. So if they're on the product page, all we want them to do here is to buy. And maybe they've tested this and it actually works for them. In all of the stores that I've ever worked with or the CRO audits I've ever done, and I've seen in analytics that buyer's journey, right? Where people are like going from page to page. If you lose them from this page, there's a big chance they're not coming back to purchase. And when you go to that see all results page, there isn't any buttons to purchase. I mean, like if they know to click this, they might go to the page, but it isn't a sales page. And that's really dangerous when we have somebody here looking for an excuse to buy to send them off the page. So this is our salesperson. We have one goal, get them to buy fast. We don't want to send them somewhere else that is not a purchase page. And now the next panel on this page, thoughtful at every step. I personally hate this section. But who cares what I think, right? Because a split test is worth 1,000 opinions and these guys are killing it. In my opinion and based on my experience, I wonder if this section is the best use of real estate and whether it's there to tick a box for the company or there to tick a box for the consumer. Because when we're doing this, we want to think this is a sales page. So what does somebody need to see to be persuaded and motivated to take the action we want? And maybe this does, and that's awesome. One thing though to note on this section is it adds a lot of role depth. So we have this image, we have all this text, and my hypothesis is it doesn't mean much to anybody. And most people know this is a vegan brand and there's probably better ways to get that point across. So when I want to figure out what to put on a page, what I do is I do a word cloud of all of the testimonials, like the positive testimonials that we have. And I also do these customer survey insights to see why did people buy and why didn't they buy. And I'm sure they're doing this on the back end as well. And it's really important to know why people buy, but also why they don't buy, because that's an objection. This is a salesperson, and we can start to overcome those objections. It also just adds a lot of scroll depth on mobile. And again, we have another button to escape this page. Then goes to a page that doesn't have any purchase intent on it. So we've just lost them. And I'd be super interested to see the Google Analytics and if people do get lost going through those pages. I actually think our story copy on the About Us page about how this brand was from Bali and the fresh ingredients and the coconut and understanding and meeting a bit more of the founder would potentially be way more powerful and way more interesting. Of course, it depends on what customers respond to, but I think this would be an interesting test whether they even need this panel, whether it causes friction, or whether there's copy that builds a better relationship with the brand. Next, we have the customer reviews panel. Obviously, this looks great. They have heaps of reviews and it's amazing. And scrolling down, the only thing is, if someone does reach the bottom of this page, there is not another ask. So we aren't asking them again to purchase. So if someone gets here, that means they have to scroll all the way back up if they do decide to purchase, right? If someone's going through these testimonials, we're not asking them to purchase again. So what we can do is what I call a full stop at the bottom of the page. So it's like ready to get the hair of your dreams, call to action to buy, right? But in summary, what can you steal from this page? Multiple product images and the product in context. Also sexy, exciting images, not just boring, lame images. We have the social proof high on the page. We have a fun product name. We could dial up the dream outcome here, but it's still great. And then we have problems turned into solution. And we have other things to explore and other things to unpack. We also have the opportunity to increase our average order value. This can be improved, in my opinion, require split test. And then we also just want to consider what's on mobile and also what is on desktop. But the key to this brand and the key to beauty brands is always proof and the power of demonstration. And these before and afters, remembering that none of us sell a product or a service, right? We all sell entry into a desired after state. And that's what this page does really, really well. It shows you where you are now, where you want to be, and it positions the product as the solution, not just a solution, the solution to get you there.
This is the perfect solution.
Now, as promised, there's 3 e-commerce power-ups that you can use on your site today, and I'm gonna walk you through them using Coco and Eve as an example. So if Coco and Eve wanted to broaden their pipeline and find new pools of customers, at the moment, you need to know you have a problem with your hair to seek out this product, right? But there are people, and lots of them, hundreds of thousands, probably millions of people earlier in the buyer's journey that don't even realize their hair is damaged or that they have a problem. So when you have multiple SKUs, the friction can be people don't even realize that their hair is damaged. This is thought process number 1. To add to that, when you have multiple SKUs, the friction can be that people don't know what is right for them. So they bounce because they have to work for it, right? What I would test on both the ad level, because it looks like on ads we're doing pretty hardcore push about the product, right? Product, which is normal for an e-commerce brand. But if you want to find new pools of customers and bring more people in, then you need to find them earlier in the buyer's journey. And the way that I would do this is something like a hair care quiz, something where it's like, is your hair as healthy as it should be? Or is your hair gonna start thinning? Or whatever like big problem it is that we solve. And you could drive Facebook ads traffic to that, but also thinking of the quiz again to solve the other problem with multiple SKUs. When somebody comes here, and this is also the same advice for the category page, they're coming here to solve a problem. And they're really good at showing this on the product page, but how can we help them to solve their problem faster? So we could do that hair care quiz. We could have a quiz on our site that says either about like problem focus, like, you know, if you're trying to solve this problem, find which product's best for you. We could also have a chatbot on the site for any questions and to help people find what they're looking for. But remembering the category page, the whole point is to get people to what they're looking for. The same thinking can be applied to the category page and allowing people to shop by problem or by what they want to achieve, because we're selling a dream outcome. So for example, a lot of their testimonials seems to be about curls. They might want to say category, hair type, or problem, or whatever it is to help me find the problem easier. So that's 2 power-ups in one, effectively. The quiz to find more pools of people. You can use that on your ads. You can also use it on your site to help people find the product. You just recommend products, like how to get the hair of your dreams. That's the quiz. And then you recommend your products. And then same line of thinking, our job is to make it as easy as possible to find the solution to the problem. We update the category page. Next thing, and we've already spoken about this, but it's removing the friction. And I want to give an easy, actionable step for this. And with our sticky button here, right? Awesome, that's great, it's down the bottom, that's where the thumb goes, that's the most ergonomic for the UX. We aren't removing any friction to get the click. So if we just added some testimonials there underneath that button, because we've got them here, like literally that just stayed sticky with this, that would definitely increase the conversion of the site. So that's number 2, removing friction to purchase, and that is one simple way to do it. Third and the final way is looking at Google Ads traffic and how you can get better at that. As an example, if we type in Coco and Eve review, they're running ads to that, great work. But when I click this, it actually takes me to their homepage. And I don't want to go to the homepage necessarily, right? So when you look at like the big buckets of search terms that people have about you, you want to think about what is actually the best journey to take them on. So as an alternative, what would be really interesting for them to test is maybe a quiz with heaps of testimonials on it to help somebody find what they're looking for. You could assume that they don't know what product to buy yet because they're not typing in a product, or sending them to this page with call to actions that break it up to get them into a product. So instead of sending them to the homepage, which is like a directory, and that's not what they were looking for, they were looking for proof that you do what everybody says you do, you could send them to this, as long as this page was adjusted to get them back into buying mode. Okay, there you have it. That was the breakdown of Coco and Eve's killer product page. Obviously making $45 million last year. They know what they're doing. I don't have any affiliation with the company. I don't know the founders, and I've never worked with them. But those were some ideas that they could split test to take it to the next level. And that was some insights to you, what you can swipe and deploy on your own product pages, and some things that you can test and power up. So team, let me know, what was your #1 takeaway for today? Or what's something that you would want to test on this page so that you could take it to the next level? Chat to you soon.